Hello everyone, let me tell you something right now. There are people walking around with more talent than you, more resources than you, more connections than you, and they're still stuck. And there are people with less than you, less education, less money, less support, and they're moving like rockets. Why? Because they know their why. They know why they wake up in the morning, they know why they fight through the pain, and they know why they refuse to quit. And if you don't know your why, I don't care how much potential you've got. It's going to stay buried inside of you like treasure in a locked chest with no key. See, your why isn't just some motivational slogan. Your why is your foundation. It's what keeps you from folding under pressure. It's what keeps you praying when nothing's working. It's what keeps you pushing when everyone else is pulling back. When you know your why, your what has more impact. Your how has more meaning, your when becomes now. People say, I want to be successful. Okay, but why? I want to make more money. Why? I want a better life. Why? Until you can answer that with your soul, you're not going to go far. Because let me tell you, life is going to hit you. Business is going to test you. Relationships are going to stretch you. And if your why is weak, your legs will buckle every single time. But if your why is strong enough, if it comes from deep enough, you will walk through fire with a smile on your face because you know what's on the other side. You've got to get clear. You've got to stop running around trying to copy everybody else's dream. Some of you are chasing a vision that was never meant for you. You're grinding for a goal that doesn't even excite your spirit. That's why you're tired. That's why you're inconsistent. You're hustling without conviction. You're showing up, but your soul's still asleep. When your why is yours, when it's tied to your calling, when it lines up with your purpose, you don't have to fake motivation. It pulls you, it wakes you up. It fuels your faith, and hear me, your why doesn't have to be big to be powerful. It just has to be real. Maybe you're doing it for your kids. Maybe you're doing it because you want to break a generational curse. Maybe you're doing it because you know you've been given a gift from God and you're not going to bury it in the ground like that wicked servant. That's a strong why. That's a righteous why. And once you've got that, now you've got a reason to organize your life around something. You stop wasting time. You stop entertaining distractions. You stop hanging around people who don't feed your future. You start building. You start growing. You start honoring the assignment that was put in your heart. The problem is not that you're lazy. The problem is not that you're stuck. The problem is not that you're unmotivated. The problem is you haven't sat still long enough to hear the voice inside of you. You've been so busy doing, you forgot to ask yourself why. And until you do that, every move you make will feel heavy. Every win will feel empty. Every obstacle will feel like the end. But once you know your why, once it's etched in your spirit, there's not a devil in hell that can stop you. You'll keep showing up even when the world says no. You'll keep sowing even when the soil is dry. You'll keep building even when no one claps, because your why won't let you quit. Listen, the storm doesn't scare a person who knows where they're going. The night doesn't shake someone who knows the morning is coming. The valley doesn't break someone who understands the mountaintop is part of the journey. That's the power of purpose. That's the fire of a divine why. You weren't just made to survive, you were made to thrive. You were made to build, to lead, to impact, but you've got to start by going inward. Ask yourself tonight, before you scroll, before you sleep, why am I here? What has God placed in me that the world needs? Who am I doing this for? And what legacy am I leaving behind? Because once you know your why, you'll never run out of reasons to keep going. Most people never reach their potential because they're addicted to comfort. They want the reward without the resistance. They want the crown without the cross. But let me break it down for you. Nothing significant ever grows in a place of comfort. Comfort is a trap dressed like a blessing. It feels good, it looks safe, but it slowly kills your calling. If you're waiting for it to feel easy, you'll be waiting forever. If you're waiting for all the conditions to be perfect, you'll still be standing in the same spot 5 years from now with nothing to show for it but excuses and regret. Growth does not happen in convenience. Growth happens when you stretch. It happens when you hurt. It happens when you push past the place your old self said, stop. See, the only way to expand is to enter the unknown, and the unknown will always be uncomfortable. That's where the fear shows up. That's where the doubt starts whispering. That's where the voice in your head tells you to shrink back. But guess what? That's also where the anointing gets activated. That's where purpose comes alive. That's where the power of God shows up. Not when you're coasting, but when you're climbing. Let me ask you something. Are you more committed to your comfort or your calling? Because you can't have both. God didn't design you to play it safe. He designed you to take territory, and the territory of your next level will never be handed to you in a cozy package. It will demand discomfort. It will demand courage. It will demand that you do what scared you yesterday, on purposely day. You've got to make discomfort your classroom, that conversation you're afraid to have. That's where the breakthrough is. That room where you feel underqualified, that's where your growth lives. That skill you've been avoiding because it makes you feel dumb. That's the very skill that will unlock the next level of provision in your life. But too many people pray for elevation while resisting the discomfort that creates it. That's not faith, that's fantasy. When I say get comfortable being uncomfortable, I don't mean live in chaos. I don't mean chase pain. I mean stop expecting the path to greatness to feel like a massage chair. I mean start recognizing that discomfort is not the enemy, stagnation is. Stop saying, I'm not ready. No one's ever ready for growth. Readiness is revealed in the fire. Readiness is built in the process. Comfort wants you to coast. Purpose demands you climb, and the climb will cost you your excuses. It will cost you your pride. It will cost you your fear of failing in front of people. But what you get in return is far greater. You get progress. You get power. You get the satisfaction of knowing you didn't bow to the feelings. You rose to the assignment. You've got to train your spirit to see resistance as a sign that you're on the right track. If it's too easy, you're not growing. If it doesn't scare you a little, you're not stretching. If it doesn't challenge your discipline, your faith, or your mindset, you're not evolving. Every level of discomfort is an invitation to elevate. Think about it. The gym doesn't work unless it hurts. Muscles don't grow unless they're torn first. Your character doesn't develop until it's tested. Your leadership doesn't evolve until it's challenged. So why would you expect the path to destiny to be a cakewalk? Too many people pray for God to expand their territory, but complain when He sends them a test. That test is the expansion. That hard situation you're in right now. That uncomfortable stretch you're feeling, that's God enlarging your capacity. That's heaven preparing you for what you said you wanted. You can't pray for strength and then avoid the weight. You can't ask for purpose and then run from pressure. Diamonds aren't made in comfort. Champions aren't crowned in comfort. Purpose is not born in the easy, it's born in the fire. And if you want to unlock what's inside of you, you're going to have to embrace the fire. This world will try to sell you a life of ease, but ease is not excellence. The real ones, the impactful ones, the world, changers, they do it scared, they do it tired, they do it unqualified, they do it uncomfortable. And that's why they get what others never will. So here's your word. Stop waiting for it to feel good. Stop stalling. Stop shrinking. Discomfort is not a curse, it's a cue. It's your indicator that growth is near. Lean in, step up, trust God, move anyway, because every break through you're praying for is sitting on the other side of discomfort you're avoiding. You don't need perfect conditions to start. You don't need flawless strategy. You don't need every duck in a row, every question answered, every detail figured out. What you need is obedience. What you need is bold, imperfect action, because clarity follows motion, not the other way around. Some of you are still stuck not because you're lazy, but because you're idolizing perfection. You're waiting for perfect timing, you're waiting for perfect confidence, you're waiting for all green lights. But God didn't tell you to wait for perfect. He told you to move. Perfectionism is fear dressed in productivity. It looks like preparation, but it smells like procrastination. You're not refining your plan, you're delaying your purpose. You're polishing a thing God already told you to launch, and every moment you spend getting ready is another moment you're stealing from the people you're called to serve. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be in motion. You need to move with what you've got. Start with what's in your hand. David didn't wait for a sword. He used a sling. Stop praying for more when you haven't even activated what's already in your grasp. God honors motion. God multiplies movement, but he will not bless stagnation wrapped in fear. If you're waiting for the fear to disappear before you move, you'll be in the same spot next year, still praying for doors you were supposed to walk through. It's not about being fearless. It's about being faithful. If your feet don't move, your future won't either. And let me tell you something powerful. The people who win in life are not the smartest. They're not the most talented. They are the ones who take action when others hesitate. They move forward while others are still overthinking. They ship the product. They post the video. They make the call. They launch the idea, not because it's perfect, but because it's time. See, bold, imperfect action sends a message to the universe that you're ready to grow, and God responds to faith in motion. That widow in 2 Kings didn't sit there analyzing the size of her jar. She poured. The miracle happened when she poured, and your miracle is waiting in the same place. On the other side of movement, most people don't fail because they did something wrong. Most people fail because they never did anything at all. They sat, they thought, they analyzed, they doubted, and while they were preparing, somebody else stepped in and took the opportunity, because the marketplace doesn't reward perfection. It rewards courage. It rewards results, and results come from doing. Here's what you've got to get. Success is iterative, not instant. You refine while you go. You adjust while you build. You figure it out along the way. Stop waiting until you feel ready. Boldness is not the absence of fear, it's the decision to obey despite it. And obedience opens doors preparation can't. You think you're protecting your reputation by waiting until it's perfect. You think you're being wise, but what you're actually doing is burying your gift. Just like that servant with the 1 talent who said, "I was afraid, so I hid it." Don't hide what God gave you. Don't delay the thing that could change your life and bless someone else's. That idea, that business, that book, that message, it's not about you. You are the vessel, not the source, and the vessel doesn't have to be flawless. It just has to pour. You're trying to win without failing. You're trying to grow without stretching. That's not how this works. You've got to be willing to fail fast, fail forward, and fail faithfully, because every misstep is a lesson. Every mistake is part of the process. And the faster you take action, the faster you get better. Bold action exposes your gaps, and that's a good thing, because now you know what to fix. Now you know where to grow. Now you've got real feedback instead of just fear. And once you taste the momentum that comes from action, you stop worshiping comfort and start chasing purpose. So don't wait until the plan is perfect. Start with what you know. Don't wait until the fear is gone. Walk with it. Don't wait until the critics are quiet. Speak anyway, because somebody is waiting on the other side of your obedience. Somebody's freedom is tied to your action, and the longer you wait, the longer they suffer. You don't need a guarantee. You need a seed of faith. You don't need the whole staircase, just the first step. You don't need applause. You need alignment, and alignment comes through movement, through motion. Through doing it scared, doing it messy, doing it now. So whatever's been in your spirit to do, do it. If God gave it to you, move, not later, now. Because imperfect action in obedience will always outperform perfect procrastination rooted in fear. You don't get transformation from a single decision. You get it from consistent decisions. One day of action won't change your life. One moment of inspiration won't rewrite your story. The blessing is in the repetition. The power is in what you do daily, not what you do occasionally. We live in a world addicted to hype but allergic to discipline. Everybody wants the results, but very few want the routine. Everybody loves the idea of success, but only a few are willing to show up daily when no one's watching, no one's clapping, and nothing's happening yet. Let me break it down for you. Consistency beats intensity every time. Some people go hard for one day and disappear for a month. They sprint and then collapse. But destiny is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And in a marathon, the winner isn't the one who starts fastest. The winner is the one who keeps moving. You want to unlock your potential, get consistent. Because what you do occasionally creates moments, but what you do consistently creates momentum. And momentum is what separates the talkers from the doers. It's what separates the people who inspire for a moment from the people who impact for generations. See, consistent action is spiritual. God honors faithfulness. He doesn't bless your flashes of motivation. He blesses your stewardship. He said, "Well done, good and faithful servant," and not "well done, good and inspired one." Faithfulness is consistency in motion. And when you move in faith, day after day, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when it feels like nothing's changing, that's when heaven opens doors. The enemy of potential is not failure, it's inconsistency. Some of you aren't failing. You're just stopping too soon. You do the right thing for a week and quit because it didn't work fast enough. But destiny doesn't respond to how fast you start. It responds to how long you last. If you're going to see fruit, you have to plant, water, and wait. You can't sow for one day and reap for a lifetime. That's not kingdom math. God said, "Do not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time you will reap, if you do not give up." Consistency is the bridge between your calling and your results. Your future is hidden in your daily habits, not in your big dreams, not in your passion speech, in your private disciplines, in what you do when the cameras are off, in whether or not you show up when the feeling is gone. Motivation is for moments. Discipline is for legacy. You want to change your life. Change what you do when no one's checking. Change how you treat the small tasks. Change your relationship with follow through. Excellence doesn't show up once. It stays. It becomes a lifestyle. And if you can learn how to stay the course when it's boring, when it's quiet, when it's uncomfortable, you've already beaten 90% of people. You've got to stop treating consistency like an option. It's not optional, it's essential. Talent is optional, genius is optional, consistency is mandatory. You can outlast people who are smarter than you if you stay consistent. You can outperform people with more resources if you stay consistent. Because while they're stopping to think, to hesitate, to restart, you're still moving, still building, still executing. Consistency compounds. Just like money compounds in interest, your actions compound in impact. One act may feel small, one day may feel pointless, but string them together day after day and watch what happens. Small, faithful steps lead to massive, undeniable breakthroughs. But you won't see it if you keep starting over. You won't see it if you quit every time it gets hard. The people who make it don't avoid resistance. They push through it consistently. And hear me on this, consistency is not about perfection. You're going to miss some days. You're going to get it wrong sometimes. That's not failure. That's human. The win is in the return. The win is in getting back up. Consistency doesn't mean you never fall. It means you keep coming back. It means you don't let failure have the final say. So what do you need to be doing consistently? Is it prayer, reading, creating, showing up in your business, serving others? Whatever it is, commit to it, not just when it feels good, not just when you're motivated every day. Show up for your purpose like it's a non-negotiable, because it is. You want to know the secret to break through. Here it is. Show up every day without apology, without excuses, without needing to feel ready. Just show up. God can do a lot with your consistency. He can multiply it. He can anoint it. but He cannot bless what you refuse to commit to. So stop waiting for signs. Stop looking for shortcuts. Start stacking faithful, disciplined, consistent action. That's how legacies are built. That's how chains are broken. That's how purpose is fulfilled. Not with hype, with habits. You will never rise higher than the environment you consistently tolerate. You can pray all day. You can declare your purpose. You can write your vision. But if you stay surrounded by people who are content with average, your potential will suffocate under their low expectations. This is not about being better than anyone. This is about refusing to be dragged down by a mindset that doesn't match your mission. See, environment isn't neutral. It either pulls you forward or it pulls you backward. It either feeds your calling or it feeds your complacency. You can't grow in toxic soil. You can't elevate when you're surrounded by people who are allergic to growth. And here's the problem. Most people stay stuck not because they don't have the ability, but because they're too loyal to the wrong company. They'd rather fit in than level up, but destiny requires separation. Some connections were meant for where you were, not where you're going. And if you try to drag old mindsets, old conversations, and old habits into your new season, you'll kill the promise before it ever has a chance to grow. You've got to be willing to outgrow some circles to step into the fullness of what God has for you. Ask yourself, who's speaking into your life? Who are you giving access to your mind, your spirit, your vision? Because the people you listen to will either sharpen you or sabotage you. They'll either speak life into your dreams or talk you back into playing small. And here's the truth, you don't need everybody. You just need the right ones. People who don't just cheer for you, they challenge you. People who don't just celebrate your wins, they hold you accountable when you drift. That's real community. That's kingdom alignment. Proverbs says, "He who walks with the wise becomes wise, but a companion of fools suffers harm." That's not metaphor, it's a law. If you hang around people who value growth, you will start to grow. If you stay around people who live in cycles of fear, excuses, and victimhood, you will slowly start to adopt their language, their patterns, their limits. Your spirit absorbs the standard of your circle. That's why some of you are stuck. You're in agreement with small-minded people. You keep trying to bring vision into rooms built on survival. You're trying to talk strategy around people who are still making excuses. You're speaking faith, and they are responding with fear. You're declaring increase, and they are defending lack. You're making moves, and they are mocking progress. And then you wonder why you feel drained, why your momentum dies, why your fire keeps going out. Let me tell you what's really happening. Your potential is being poisoned by proximity. You keep praying for elevation, but you won't leave the pit. You keep asking God to expand your territory, but you won't leave the comfort zone of community that's keeping you bound. It's time to upgrade your environment. Get around people who force you to grow, people who make you uncomfortable, in a good way, people who think bigger, speak bolder, believe deeper, people who push you to excellence, not enable your excuses. Because comfort is contagious, but so is courage. And when you're in the right room with the right people, you stop apologizing for your gift. You stop shrinking to fit. You stop lowering your vision to match someone else's comfort level. That kind of room will stretch you, it will convict you, it will pull the greatness out of you, but most importantly, it will remind you who you are, and we all need that. We all need people who see the version of us that heaven sees and refuse to let us settle for anything less. Jesus didn't try to change the world with a crowd. He chose 12 who were willing to be transformed, 12 who followed, fell, got up, and kept walking. He didn't need thousands to start a movement. He needed a small circle that would carry the fire. And if Jesus, the Son of God, chose his inner circle carefully, why are you giving access to everybody? Why are you building destiny with people who aren't even building discipline? Some people can't go with you, and that's not rejection, that's redirection. God will sometimes prune relationships not to hurt you, but to prepare you. Don't fight to keep people who don't feed your future. Don't beg for validation from those who were never meant to understand your calling. Learn to bless and release, let them go, with love but with clarity, because when you make room for the right voices, your vision accelerates, your mindset shifts, your faith grows, your standard elevates. You begin to move with boldness, not hesitation. You stop questioning whether you're worthy and start walking like you're called. And that alignment, that's where miracles happen. That's where momentum is born. So stop looking for company and start looking for covenant. Stop craving comfort and start craving challenge. Get around people who make you better, not just feel better. That's how you unlock the next level. That's how you protect your purpose. That's how you grow for real. God doesn't operate on your schedule. He doesn't check your calendar before he moves. He's not in a hurry, and he's not late. He works by alignment, not by urgency. And if you're going to unlock your potential, you've got to learn to trust his timing, even when it doesn't make sense, especially when it doesn't make sense. You can have the right gift, the right mindset, the right preparation. But if you move in the wrong timing, you can still miss what's yours. Timing matters. Timing is not just about when the door opens. It's about whether you're ready when it does. God doesn't waste elevation on unprepared vessels. He won't open a door you don't have the character to walk through. He won't release a platform that your discipline can't sustain, and he won't rush your development just because you're frustrated with delay. That's why delay doesn't mean denial. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to. You think God forgot. You think he changed his mind. No, he's protecting you. He's shaping you. He's maturing you in private so that when he reveals you, you're ready to handle it. See, we want to be blessed fast. But God wants us to be built strong, and strength is forged in seasons where nothing makes sense. Seasons where you sow but don't see harvest. Seasons where you obey but still feel stuck. Those aren't wasted seasons. Those are training seasons. That's where God develops your endurance. That's where he teaches you to walk by faith, not by sight. Because if you only trust him when it's easy, you don't really trust him. You trust your circumstances. You've got to get this. Preparation time is never lost time. What God is doing in you is always more important than what you're trying to get to next. If you're focused only on the outcome, you'll miss the lesson in the process. And if you rush the process, you'll sabotage the promise. Think about Joseph. He had the dream as a teenager, but it took years before he saw the fulfillment. He went from pit to prison before he ever got to the palace. And guess what? It wasn't the dream that changed. He changed. God used the delay to shape the man who could steward the vision. And when it was time, when Pharaoh called, Joseph didn't need to get ready. He was ready. Why? Because he trusted the process. And you've got to do the same. You've got to keep building when nothing's happening. Keep praying when no one's listening. Keep showing up when no one's clapping. Because trusting God's timing means refusing to compromise just because it's taking longer than you expected. It means not settling for less just to feel like you're making progress, that shortcut you're tempted to take. It'll cost you more than the wait ever would. God is not moved by pressure. He's moved by purpose. He's not worried about how long it takes. He's focused on what it takes to make you ready. And if he's delaying something, it's because he knows what's on the other side. You're thinking about now, he's thinking about next. You're trying to avoid pain, he's trying to prepare you for purpose. Some of you are frustrated because it hasn't happened yet, but I came to tell you, it's not too late. You're not behind, you're not forgotten, you're being positioned. God doesn't do random. Every moment, every delay, every detour is part of a bigger strategy, but you have to keep your posture right. Keep your heart soft. Keep your hands diligent. Keep your eyes on the promise even when the path is unclear. Don't get bitter in the wait. Get better. Don't let impatience push you into places that don't carry your name. When God opens the door, it won't be forced. You won't have to beg for it. You won't have to manipulate people to get it. You won't have to fight to stay in the room. When it's your time, God will do it His way, without your compromise and without your striving. That's what favor looks like, and favor flows in alignment, not in anxiety. So take the pressure off your shoulders. You're not the source. You're the steward. You don't have to make it happen. You just have to stay ready. Keep developing, keep learning, keep obeying, and most of all, keep trusting. Because if God gave you the vision, He's responsible for the provision. Your job is obedience. His job is outcome. Let other people rush. Let them chase platforms, chase validation, chase visibility. You chase purpose. You chase alignment. And when the timing is right, God will elevate you in a way no man can block. In a way that doesn't drain you, it sustains you. In a way that glorifies Him, not just promotes you. So trust Him. Trust the delay. Trust the development, and know this. When it's your time, nothing and no one can stop what God has ordained. If you want to unlock your potential, you have to believe bigger. Period. You can't live a life of impact with small faith. You can't step into divine purpose with human-sized belief. What you believe sets the ceiling, and some of you are not stuck because of your situation. You're stuck because of your limitation. You're not waiting on God, you're waiting on your own belief to catch up with what He already said. See, most people aren't held back by lack of opportunity. They're held back by a mindset that keeps shrinking their vision to match their past. You can't unlock destiny thinking like a prisoner. You can't walk into abundance speaking like a beggar. You can't partner with heaven while agreeing with fear. The problem isn't the promise, it's the perspective. The Israelites had the promise of the land, it was already theirs, but when the spies went in, 10 came back saying, "We are grasshoppers in our own sight." Not God's sight, their own sight. They didn't lose the land, they lost faith in the land. They made themselves small, they minimized their assignment, they shrunk the vision to fit their fear, and that's what a lot of people still do today. God gives a word and we respond with worry. He gives vision and we counter with what-ifs. We dilute His promise to protect our comfort. But you can't walk in power and protect fear at the same time. Faith requires risk. Faith requires exposure. Faith demands that you see past what you've seen before. You don't need bigger talent. You need bigger trust. You don't need to be more qualified. You need to believe in the God who qualifies you. You don't need the whole picture. You just need to take the next step like He's going to show up. Because when you believe bigger, you stop living based on resources and start living based on revelation. Stop praying small prayers to a limitless God. Stop asking for survival when He called you to dominion. Stop believing just to get by when He called you to multiply. Faith is not about playing it safe. It's about partnering with the supernatural. You serve the God who spoke galaxies into existence, and you're worried about whether the rent will come through. That's not faith. That's fear in disguise. When you believe bigger, you stop negotiating with average. You stop explaining your vision to people who don't even believe in their own. You stop needing permission to dream. Some of you have been conditioned to think that humility means shrinking, but humility isn't thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself the way God thinks of you. And God didn't call you small. He called you chosen. He called you royal. He called you more than a conqueror. Believing bigger doesn't just affect how you pray, it affects how you move. You walk different. You speak different. You build like the outcome is already guaranteed, because it is. You stop looking at obstacles as stop signs and start seeing them as confirmation that you're on the right path. You stop being surprised by resistance and start expecting reward. You stop asking, what if it fails, and start declaring, what if it works? Let me be clear, belief is not a feeling. Belief is a decision, and you've got to decide, right now, that you will no longer play small to make other people comfortable. You will no longer water down your vision to fit into rooms that were never built for your assignment. You will no longer doubt what God confirmed just because it hasn't happened yet. Belief activates heaven. It moves mountains, it breaks cycles, but not if it stays in your head. You've got to speak it, declare it, act like it, build like it, show up like you already have what he promised. And when the enemy whispers, "Who do you think you are?" you answer with confidence, "I'm a child of God, and I believe everything he said about me." This is not about hype, it's about identity. When you believe bigger, you don't just chase success. You embody purpose. You understand that your dream isn't just about you. It's about the generations connected to your obedience. When you believe bigger, you stop thinking year to year and start thinking legacy. You stop praying for doors and start becoming the door for others. You stop asking for a platform and realize you are the platform God wants to use. And here's the truth. God is not intimidated by your big faith. He's not overwhelmed by your big requests. He invites them. He expects them. He is a rewarder of those who believe that he is and that he is able. So if you're going to unlock your potential, don't just think higher, believe higher. Don't just ask for more, expect more. Move like someone who serves the God of overflow, not the God of just enough. Because at the end of the day, the size of your dream is a direct reflection of the size of your God. And if your dream can be done without faith, it's too small. Believe bigger, because God's not finished. He's just waiting on you to believe like you know who you are.